Hi, welcome to Desk Side With. I'm Brian Pittman. Our guest today is Joanne Davis, founder of Joanne Davis Consulting, a company that focuses on the agency-client relationship. Welcome, Joanne. What are you working on these days?
Oh, we're working on a couple of fun things, Brian. Today it hit the news that one of the clients we helped with an agency review, Pfizer, has selected their winning agency.
Well, that's a pretty big news item. I've been following Pfizer quite a bit through the years. Do you want to talk a little bit about the client-agency relationship lessons that may come out of that process? Maybe we could zero in on the RFP process. What mistakes do agencies typically make when they do respond to RFPs?
RFP mistakes kind of fall into three big areas. One, they make typos and don't answer the questions, and that's a no-no. Two, they talk too much about themselves and not enough about themselves in relationship to the client. And three, they're generic. They all say, we do this better than anyone, and we have proprietary practices with a circle R, and it reads like everybody else's practices.
Well, I'm assuming that didn't happen in this particular case. I'm not sure if you mentioned who was the agency?
The incumbent agency is Cara, and Cara won. And that's part of the reason why the industry and the trade press is pretty interested, because more often than not, the incumbent agency doesn't retain the business.
Okay, good to know. Well, I'm glad we got you speaking on this today. This will run this week, so it'll be timely. What new trends are you seeing developing in the client-agency relationship space, and how has that changed over the last couple of years, and what trends can we watch for in the year ahead?
Well, there are a few good questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, what are the trends in what's happening? The main thing is clients are realizing that when they have agencies in the double digits, they've got to manage rosters of agencies. In the good old days when I worked in the agency business 10 years ago, we did virtually everything for our client. We did the creative, we did the above the line, the below the line, the promotion, the public relations, the media. Today, there are so many subspecialist and specialist agencies that a client could find themselves having a dozen agencies, right? A dozen agencies per brand. So with that comes a great responsibility to be sure the agencies are synced up around the same strategic platform, number one. And number two, the roles and responsibilities are clear so that you have synchronization as opposed to pandemonium, and you're not overpaying.
It's probably a tall order to do in a video interview like this, but a lot of our audience members are on the PR side, the marketing side, the advertising side. We also have IR firms on our list. So what you just talked about is how to synchronize efforts across agency partners. Any tips, any tactical suggestions for enabling that and for making that happen?
Yeah, a couple of suggestions. One of the first best things you can do is lay out what the plan is. It's almost like a racing. Who's responsible, who's accountable, who's informed, and so on. Second, get all the agencies to come to the same meeting. Make sure the left hand knows what the right hand versus the left foot and the right foot are charged with doing. Third, allow the agencies to work together without client supervision at all times. Fourth, provide some kind of incentive, possibly a bonus, where the agencies get points for collaborating better. Those who want to poach and say, I need more for public relations and you don't need so much for advertising, or vice versa, who are trying to not play well in the sandbox, should be penalized, and those who do play well in the sandbox, where the client is focused first, should be rewarded.
Great advice. Good tips for our agency side folks and the corporations they work for. Speaking of the corporations, what are, and it's unfair to nail it down to three, but I love numbers, what three traits would you say that clients, the company side, are looking for most in agency partners, regardless of discipline?
Business partners?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You have to care about the client's business, number one. Number two, possibilities. An agency that can show a client a solution to a problem that the client didn't know existed. and 3, team spirit.
Good. On the flip side, and we'll remember those because those probably translate as to really good New Year's resolutions for agencies. What advice do you have for agencies who may have to deal with difficult or trouble companies, companies that are basically tough to work with?
That's a harder one, Brian. One is, if the client is truly troubled, let the client know that you're a professional counselor that can help add value and solve those troubles. If the client is really troubled and is obnoxious about it and wants to pay nothing for it, then maybe you don't want to work together.
Any red flags to look for then? I'm talking on the agency side with clients that maybe it's going to be a bad relationship with the company that brought you on board. What kind of red flags should you look for, and what might be some solutions?
An important red flag is if the client is a serial dater, where the client seems to change agencies every year, because that is an indicator that the client may not know what the client wants and is punishing the agency for a client deficiency. So if I saw a client with a history of changing agencies every year, I'd want to ask questions. That's probably the biggest.
Great. That's a big red flag to watch for. Considering that we're about to enter the new year and that's when this will run, anything else you want to share with our audience? I promised you I'd keep it short, but your words and wisdom are so valuable. I pushed a little further. Anything else you want to say? Any parting tips of advice?
Yes, I'll give a piece of advice to the agency community. It's not about you. It's never been about you. It's never going to be about you. It's about the client. So serve yourself up in a client beneficial manner.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joanne of Joanne Davis Consulting. Do you want to throw out a blog or a URL or website our audience can visit real quick?
Sure. Our website is www.joannedavisconsulting.com.
Great. Thank you so much. Happy holidays, Happy New Year's to you, and thank you for all of the tips today.
Thank you. Same to you, Brian.
Okay. Bye-bye.